Hello, wonderful educators. Welcome to another exciting episode of Teaching Tales. I'm your host, Mischelle Dennis, and I'm thrilled to introduce our next guest. But before we dive into today's conversation, don't forget to show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel. So, today we're in for a treat. We have a remarkable teacher in our virtual studio, hailing from Nigeria. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Abiola. Welcome, Abiola, to our session today. It's so nice to have
Oh,
you here with
th-
us.
yeah, thank you, Michelle. I'm quite elated to be in the podcast today. It has been a wonderful experience so far. So I enjoy so much from Suraasa. So thank you, viewers across the globe. This is Abiola John Opeagbe, a teacher of business and economics at Pace British School, Sharjah, the UAE.
I was going to give the rest of your introduction, but you've already said it, but I'm still going to finish my introduction for you. So, like Abiola
Okay.
said, he is a business and economics teacher specializing in teaching students at the Cambridge upper secondary level with a teaching journey spanning across Nigeria and the UAE. He's a tech savvy teacher who fosters critical thinking and independent learning in his students. Welcome to the show once again, Abiola.
Thank you, Michelle, for having me. It's great to be here again.
Nice. So, Abiola, let's dive right into your journey. What drew you to become a teacher, especially in business and economics?
Wow, my love for teachers started several years back home when I was still an undergraduate student at the university. Sometimes in school, you just have your colleagues coming around you to explain a concept, an idea to them. So explanation of those concepts gave me an idea that, I'm going to be a very good teacher in the future. So by and large, it went on like that all through my undergraduate period. And as soon as I graduated, I found myself in the teaching career. And it has been great since then till date.
So, why specifically pick business and economics, though?
Yes, actually, I love business and I love economics because that is what I studied. I studied BSc economics and also went further to have a second degree in economics. So if you have to look at business and economics, it aligns very well with my study. So that's why I had to choose business and economics.
That's nice. Okay, so in my introduction, I said you're a tech savvy teacher and you do integrate technology in your teaching a lot. So, could you highlight some of your favorite tech tools or apps that you always use in your classroom?
Wow, that is lovely. I need to introduce this that in the 21st century as a teacher, there is need for you to be tech savvy, without which you cannot really do best. In fact, you're not going to be a good teacher. So as a tech savvy teacher, we have a whole lot of tech tools that we make use in the classroom. Starting with, we make use of Google Classroom. This Google Classroom allows us to manage our students' assignment, notes, examination, information, and so on. And sometimes student data, they're always loaded on it, which we make use of in the classroom. We also have a kind of a smart board which we use to display whatever lesson we want to teach our students in our school, and that is quite encouraging. And as a teacher, we also make use of Kahoot. I use Kahoot to assist my students in preparation for examination to test their basic knowledge on what they have learned in the classroom. And we also make use of several tools that I may not be able to mention 100% right now, depending on the need for those tools.
Okay. Do you also use so I've seen a lot of Instagram reels, a lot of posts on teachers using AI to make their daily work a little more easier. Do you use AI as part of, preparing your classroom schedule or your schedule for the week, anything like that?
Yeah, definitely AI has come to stay in the world of technology today. So I make use of ChatGPT sometimes to assist in one or the area or the other. I also make use of I've forgotten this one. I also make use of manage back sometimes to manage when I was still in an IB school. Make use of manage back to also assist there. So the AI tool also assists us in creation of lesson notes, content, and the rest, and presentation in the classroom. So this is also a very welcome tech tool.
So it has, can you say that yes, AI has lightened the load a little?
Definitely, AI has come to stay. Although some teachers are still finding it funny, some institutions are not accepting it. They felt that it is making the work too easy for students. But I don't think so. This is a world of technology. We need to embrace it and teach our students how to make use of it properly. That is just the key word there. If they have the good idea of how to make use of it, then they are going to use it for their learning, and it's going to help them a great deal.
Right, like when more and more children got exposed to internet. I remember that there were a lot of school sessions organized for teachers on how to properly use the internet, like how to teach your children to use the internet properly. So I guess learning or giving your kids that training on how to use AI in the right way is also a thing that maybe we can do.
Definitely, I have said it over and over that teachers should incorporate AI tool in the classroom, although subject to the approval of the school. Some schools, they allow it. Some schools, they will not allow it. So you have to seek the approval of your school before you make use of such tool. So in my own case, I always tell my students, this is how to go about it. This is how to make use of it. You use it for knowledge, for research on whatever you want to learn, then this is going to assist you. So looking at technology these days, not a thing whereby you should be centered on teachers alone. We should also encourage the student to go about using it. Just guide them, put them through. Although we know that there could be challenges of students using this AI too, they could be carried away by the internet, surfing what is not right and that. But we can always guide them on how to use it to their best.
True. And how long have you, when did you start integrating technology into your classroom? Like, how many years have you been using technology as part of your classroom?
I think this is less than a year so far right now, because back home in Nigeria, I was not used to technology at all because we were not using it. So when I came to the UAE and I got a job as a learning support teacher last year at a particular school in Dubai, where I was a learning support, we had the exposure to technology. Now, when I resume at my current school, technology is just the base. You need to use technology, you need to learn it, you need to make use of it. So that is all about the timing. Just let's say less than a year.
Okay, and what is the difference that you feel in a classroom that has a technology integration versus a classroom that is a classic old school where you have blackboards and charts with all the explanations and everything? Like, what do you feel the engagement level of the students are, and how they interact with the teacher? Do you think they're more attentive? Like, what are the differences you see?
The difference is so clear. Technology has made everything so easy in this present generation. When you have a classroom with technology, you can imagine right now I'm here. I can send notes to my students back home. Even if we are unable to complete the assignments right in the classroom, that's an advantage. With the traditional method of teaching, you don't have that opportunity. Right in the classroom, I can send notes to my students. I can give them assignments to be done on Kahoot so they can easily log on and work on it. I can send messages on my through using Google Classroom. They're going to see it and work on it and get back to me, give me feedback immediately. That is happening because of technology. Now compare that to traditional method of teaching where we don't have those opportunities. How are you going to be able to do that? It's not going to be easy. So technology has come to stay, and it has come to make our work easier as teacher and students.
That's great. That's nice. I mean, technology has the progress we've made in education thanks to technology is a lot, right? So kudos there.
Definitely. Yes, that's
Great.
great.
Now, so you've taught in both UAE and Nigeria. So what have been the most exciting differences in the educational settings? Like what are the differences you see, the major differences?
The major differences, I'm going to start with technology. In the UAE, without technology, you can't teach. But back home in Nigeria, we are still finding it challenging to integrate the curriculum with the aid of technology. So the challenge has been there. So as Nigeria is a developing country, that has not been introduced effectively. But in the UAE, that is just exactly what you have to use. If you can't use technology, you are not going to be a good teacher. That is it. Then secondly, the curriculum back home in Nigeria is such that it still allows a kind of traditional method of teaching. But in the
Okay.
UAE, you don't use traditional method of teaching again. You have to be a 21st century teacher who is ready to learn, who is ready to relearn, and relearn until you are able to do the right thing the right way.
Hmm. Okay, that's nice. And so you said you find it the integration of technology in the classroom in Nigeria is still a work in progress one because Nigeria is a developing country. Does that also have a lot to do with the availability of it? Because I remember I had once spoken to a teacher from Nigeria who mentioned he was a chemistry teacher, he's the head of the department, and he had mentioned that when they
Yeah.
want to do experiments, chemistry experiments, it's very difficult to find the materials. So,
That is true. That is true. Just like the way I said, Nigeria is still a developing country. We have not fully integrated into the use of technology. That is a stand there. So, over and above all, we are still improving, a work in progress. So, for what I have seen in the UAE compared to my country back home, the system is totally different. I must confess to you, because technology is a mainstay in education in the UAE, but technology is not the mainstay in Nigeria. We are still working towards achieving technology in the classroom.
but when the times that you are able to implement or integrate technology in your classroom in Nigeria, how do the students respond? Like, are they interested? Do they want to learn a little more? Do they want to understand how this technology works?
Definitely, students will always be interested in a new thing. So since technology is a new thing to them, definitely they will love to see it. What is it all about? Back home, we started with just computer and projectors displaying lesson notes on the whiteboard, not smartboard, whiteboard. That's what we use. We use back home in Nigeria. So once you display it on the whiteboard, they look at it. Oh, this is a kind of a new thing. So it's amusing, exciting to them. They want to learn more about it, but unfortunately, it's limited. You can imagine a situation whereby they don't have the technology back home.
Yeah.
They don't have access to, most of them don't have system. If they have
Yeah.
to use system at all, they will have to consult their parent. Oh, mommy, I need your system. And sharing system with parents sometimes might be very, very challenging. Parents will want to
Obviously.
hide the office file, and so many
Yeah,
files away from
but
their
as
children.
parents, they would have their own private things and their documents and things that they don't want their kids to maybe go through or fiddle around with. So I can
That is very,
understand.
that is very true.
I'm from the south of India, right? And I currently live
Okay.
here in the northern part of India. And for me, sometimes like the cultural differences between the South and the North are kind of huge, even when it comes to the language, the rituals, all of those things. And sometimes for me to navigate or speak in the language here can be a little bit of a challenge because I did not grow up learning the language or speaking the language. So I sometimes find it very hard to converse with people, and it's easy for me to converse in English. So when I have to go outside or travel, I end up conversing with like the auto rickshaw guy in English plus Hindi, and it's really funny. Okay, usually it ends up in a very funny
Okay.
situation. And you are someone who's coming from Nigeria and you're living in the Gulf, in a Gulf country. Have you ever been in a funny situation like that wherein, you know, the cultural difference or you were just not able to explain yourself? You have a funny situation that you can tell us.
Obviously, I need to tell you, once you are leaving your country, you're going to have some level of culture shock, no matter what it is, because your background, your country is totally different from where you are going to. However, before I left Nigeria, I learned a bit of the culture of the in Gulf countries. So seeing them was not totally a new thing because I've read about it and I've watched videos about it. So I was able to easily adjust. So in terms of culture, and as a person, I'm open-minded to various things, culture, people, languages, and the rest. I'm very open-minded. And as a teacher, that is just what you need to learn. In the UAE, for example, we have mixture of culture from Europe, from Indian, from Australia, from South America, from Africa, North Africa, West Africa, East Africa, South Africa. UAE is just a multicultural country where you can just walk up anywhere and see people from from one end of the earth to another end of the earth meeting in the Gulf country. That's just how the country is. So you need to be open-minded, be free, and welcome as many culture as you can. Even in my classroom right now, as I talk to you, I have so many culture, so many students from various backgrounds, from India, from Pakistan, from Africa, from Europe, from the Arabian world. You can just see them. Here is just a melting point of various culture across the globe.
Sure. And give me one, like in your classroom, have you ever had a funny incident wherein, like because of the cultural differences, there was the funny incident?
Definitely in terms of language. Definitely the way I speak right now, you can hear me clearly. But I still find it some funny at times that some students from some part of the Gulf country will tell you that, sir, I don't understand what you just said. Can you just pronounce it another way? You understand, it's a kind of a funny thing in terms of language that, the accent challenge. That's just the whole thing. Accent is just a kind of a great thing. However, in my school, we are taught to be matured in handling such situation because you are going to have them. Looking at a student from Pakistan, the accent is totally different from a student from Africa.
Yeah.
The same thing with India and another student from Europe. You have all of them in your classroom. So what do you have to do? You have to adjust towards all of them and make sure that you carry all of them along.
Oh yeah, I absolutely understand this accent thing that you are talking about. My brother lives in the US, and I mean he has an accent that's similar to mine. And when he moved to the US, people couldn't understand him. So specific words, he had to change the way he says it. And now when he talks to me, he says it the same way how he talks to them. And I make fun of him. I was like, "Oh, you're like totally changed now." So he's like, if I don't say it, if I don't say it the way they understand it, they're not going to know what I'm saying. They're going to think that I'm saying a different word.
Yeah, that's true.
So he literally had to change the way he actually speaks so that the people around him understood him.
That
So
is true.
yeah,
That is true.
I
I have
absolutely
literally
understand.
changed so many words. So many words I've changed. I've changed my accent in my classroom. But that is part of the job as a teacher, because you need to understand the students and you need to speak to them in a language that they understand, no matter what. That is part of adjustment.
I mean, and like, so since now you said that you've changed a lot of the words, the way you pronounce certain words, right? So when you talk to
Definitely.
like your former colleagues from Nigeria or your friends, your family from Nigeria, does that change in pronunciation come while you speak to them, or do you still like when you speak to them, you switch back to the old pronunciation?
I must say that is challenging to a large extent because I still maintain my traditional language. So most of the time, I speak my traditional language
Okay,
to my people back home in Nigeria. So
okay,
that is a little bit easier.
nice.
Sometimes when I have to speak in English to them as well, and most of them, they understand that, okay, Biola has moved away from this country, so automatically there's going to be a change of accent a little bit. Exactly the same way you saw it with your brother in the
Yeah,
US. That's just exactly how it is.
true. You're absolutely right. Now, you have been associated with Suraasa for some time now. So tell us about how you came across Suraasa and your pursuit of the PGCTL's program. Like, what inspired you to take this path?
I came across Suraasa back in I think January, March 2020, just immediately before COVID-19 and lockdown across the globe. So I filled the form then, and I was not able to continue the program,
Mhm.
lockdown, and so many things, no job and thereabout. So just because of my interest for Suras, I haven't done a lot of research and background check. I came back in 2022. I think October to be precise, and that was when I got a mentor who counseled me. I haven't checked my profile and the rest, and he just advised me to put in for the program. Unfortunately, again, I couldn't afford the payment because I was having financial challenges then. But I kept on because of my desire to just upskill myself and have a kind of 21st century skill that is needed in international school. So I came back in March and I've started the program since March, and it has been wonderful till date.
That's nice. That's great. And what advice would you give to your fellow educators who are considering furthering their teacher training or professional development?
Definitely, professional development is an ongoing thing. No matter who you are, the level of your training, the level of your skill, you need to upskill as a teacher. You can't just be a kind of outdated teacher who does not know the latest technology to be used in teaching, the latest teaching method to be used, and the rest and the like that. So I always encourage my colleague, always upskill yourself, continue to train yourself, be educated, continue. And over, you will just notice that you are above a lot of teachers across the globe who are not used to upskilling. That's just it. You have a whole lot of advantages to yourself. You have a whole lot of international schools who are looking for the right skilled teachers who can handle students in the classroom.
True. And you're right, like when it comes to upskilling, right? So I had a podcast with another teacher, and she said that doctors, engineers are constantly upskilling themselves. The technology in, for a doctor's profession and in an engineer's profession is constantly changing, and they're constantly upskilling. So why shouldn't teachers, right? Because teachers are the ones who are setting the base for the doctors and
Definitely.
engineers of the next year, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You can imagine a situation whereby the teachers with grooming other professions. If other professions are upskilling, why not the teachers? So a
Right.
teacher has to upskill. You have to, and it is ongoing. It's not something that you just learn today and you just stop tomorrow. No, is ongoing. So that is just it.
Absolutely. And you are handling like the current generation of kids in school. I think that they're called Generation Z, right? So teaching
Yes.
Generation Z students can be quite demanding. Like their expectations, their learning styles, and like they're so fluent with technology. Like
Yeah.
how do you adapt and resonate with these young tech savvy minds? Like, do you have any specific strategies or tips for your fellow teachers dealing with Gen Z students?
I need to confess. Let me just tell you a story. I was teaching some of them just recently, and I had to tell them that, are you aware that all the smart board that we are making use the computer, the uh, technology tools that we are making use in the classroom, that we were not using these when we were kids? They were like, oh, tell us what happened. What were you using? All that. It was exciting. I told them we had to use Blackboard. Blackboard. They were like, what is Blackboard?
Oh my
And
God.
so it was a funny experience in the classroom. So now, to be sincere with you, students in this present world, they understand technology. And that is why, as a teacher, you need to adjust to them. So meeting their needs simply means you, as an individual teacher, you need to also upgrade yourself. You need to use the technology regularly and introduce it to them in classrooms. Sometimes you may introduce something new to them. Funny enough, they are already aware of it. That's just it. So they are fast learner. They have access to iPad. They have access to Android phones. Call it, name it, the technological gadget you can think about. So it helps them to think fast, act fast, and learn fast.
That's nice. I mean, like usually people tend to say, or like the older people tend to say that technology is just ruining kids. They're just glued to their phones. They're not learning anything. They're just like becoming dull. That's all they're doing. They're not mingling with anybody. But it's kind of refreshing to hear you say that, like it's making them think fast and learn fast, and it's changing the way they think about things.
That is true. However, we cannot be silent about the challenge that students have to face in terms of the usage of technology. It could be distracting at times. That is very true. So sometimes in the school, we could have a student who is learning and he or she might want to like go and check another website, which is not what you are teaching him or her in school. So what the school has done that they have prevented that. There's a technological tool to use that you restrict them to the particular website that can aid their learning. That is one way to guide against being distracted from the real thing they have to do in the classroom. So it's challenging, but at least we are making progress. That's just the main thing about teaching.
Nice. So your tip or your advice to teachers in order to make sure that they keep up with the expectations of Gen Z is to keep yourself updated as an individual, right?
Definitely.
Great. All right. So now we come to our fun session of the podcast, which is our rapid fire round. All right. So
yeah.
I'm gonna set my timer. Okay, I'll give you 120 seconds. I have 10 questions for you. Okay, and you've got to answer quickly because we have 120 seconds.
That's okay. I'll try.
I know it's a lot of pressure, but it's okay. I'm sure you're not gonna crack under the pressure.
Okay.
All right, are you ready to start?
Let's go.
One word to describe your teaching style.
Friendly.
All right. If you could invite a famous economist to your class, who would it be?
John Maynard Keynes.
All Okay. A local UAE dish that you can't get enough of.
Oh, oh, I don't like most of the local food there.
Uh,
I eat
I
my
would,
own.
for me, something that I miss from the Middle East is shawarma. I can't wait. I love it. Okay, a quick hack to relax after a hectic day of teaching.
Just relax outside and take a walk on the road.
Okay. One stationary item you always carry as a teacher.
Um, Pencil, biro. Let me say biro.
Okay. Who has been your favorite teacher here at Suraasa?
Dr. Bartlett.
Okay. Any nicknames your student you've gotten from your students? Like, have your students given you
Oh,
any special nicknames?
not really. Okay, John Bull, because my name is John.
Okay. Your go-to coffee order to power through a long day of teaching. Okay,
Black
and
coffee.
one piece of advice you'd give to a brand new teacher starting their teaching journey.
Be patient and upskill.
Nice. All right. So that's it. We're done with our 10 questions. And that was very fun. I feel like I put you on the spot and you were like under a lot of pressure.
That's it.
But so do you not like any of the food in the UAE? Like,
Actually, I love food in the UAE, but I'm not used to them. I have to use I have to eat my local dishes, and sometimes I need to go out to eat Western food. Then the local dish here, we have a mixture of so many dishes here. We
yeah,
have
very true.
dishes from Indian, dishes from Pakistan, dishes from the Arab world, and so on. So I think I've eaten paratha. I've
Hmm.
eaten samosa from Indian. I think karak tea.
Yeah.
What else again? So many things like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, UAE, like you said, it's a melting pot. So there are people from all over the world. So there are so many cuisines you can try. And the best part about it is that the food it's not very expensive. You get inexpensive food and they're really tasty as well.
That is true. That is true.
It's something I miss so much about not being in the UAE. It's the food. Because
That's true.
there's always like you can get out of your building and you'll find at least five restaurants in like 500 meters from like in like 500-meter radius, which is amazing.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Great. Okay, so we're now at the end of our session. Okay, and
Okay.
you said so you shared for new teachers, you said the most important thing that they need to have, or your advice to them is be patient,
Yes,
right?
you need to be patient with your students. That's true.
Okay, so any other words of wisdom that you would like to give them? So patience is one, a virtue that I guess teachers must have. Anything else that you feel, or any other advice you'd like to give them?
Just upskill yourself. No matter what, as a new teacher in the classroom, you're going to make mistake. It's normal. So you need to upskill yourself. Just learn how to do things the right way. The more you learn, the more you are going to be a great teacher.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abiola. That was great advice.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for joining us today
Thank you.
and sharing your fantastic journey on Teaching Tales. It's been a blast having you on the show. I really enjoyed talking to you. It was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you, Mischelle. It's
All
great to be
right.
here. Okay.
Awesome. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Every teacher's story is a treasure, and we're here to celebrate them all. Until our next episode, keep the teaching spirit alive. This is Mischelle Dennis and Aviola, and I will be back soon with another episode. I promise. See you next time. Bye.